Hey everybody, Sean Holsinger here from holsingersflyshop.com again. Bringing you another video this week. Another competition fly. I've been really into these, catching a lot of fish. This is the fly that a lot of times I get asked if you could only take one fly, what would it be? And right now for me it's this fly. It's just a two-tone nymph, we're going to call it. And on a jig hook, it's just catching a ton of fish for me. Today I was fishing and most of you guys know I like stone flies. Had a stone fly on as my anchor fly, as my point fly, and I ended up losing it in the tree, and I had this on the dropper, and I wanted the stone fly back, of course, but I didn't want to mess up the hole, so I just started casting this by itself and ended up catching two fish before I went back in and got my stone fly out of the tree. I love fishing this fly. Looks really buggy. It's just a great all-around fly. The color I'm tying it in this video, I'm gonna use a SLF squirrel dubbing in the pack, and also one of the things about buying this pack this way, I can tie, and I should say, I tie this in a couple different colors and I mix them up. For dark water, if I'm fishing in stained water, I use the chocolate or dark brown color, which is what I'm going to tie this one in. I tie a couple olives. There's a couple olives in this pack, different colors. And then there's even a bleached ginger, which is kind of like a Waltz worm color. And I catch a lot of fish on that color too. So, and there's also a natural gray. That's also a mix in between the dark brown and the bleached ginger. So there's my three primary colors that I use. Well, actually four, because I use the olives. And then also I got the SLF Prism. This is actually the Prism 1 box. And with this, I use, with the dark brown dubbing that I'm using, dark brown squirrel dub, I'm going to use the chocolate brown SLF Prism dubbing, and it just makes a nice, really nice looking fly. It's actually almost like a really dark rainbow color of dubbing. This is really, really fine ice dubbing is what it looks like, and when it gets into water, it just pulls back over the fly and just gives a lot of shimmer in the water, and it's really nice. I've been loving the fish catching ability that it has for me. So let's get back and let's tie this up for you. Okay, this is my two-tone nymph. This is a lot like two-tone mama that Gordon Vanderpool ties, and except I tie a couple different ways than he does. I use some different material than he does. We're going to start out on a size 12 H450BL Hannock hook and tie it smaller, tie it in 14s and 16s if you want. And this one actually has a pink bead head. I'm tying the one here in the video with a gold bead. I switch up the colors on my beads, and you know, I like I said before, I tie these in many different colors, and different colors fit different water colors too. Different colors of flies will work better in different water conditions, I should say. The black ones I fish more in dirty stained water. The lighter colored ones I fish in more clear water. I'm going to put like 10 to 15 wraps of 0.015 lead on this. Another thing I want to add to this is tie some with lead and tie some without lead. There's going to be times when you're fishing where you're fishing faster, deeper water. You want one to get down real quick. Like I said, tungsten bead. This one's a 1/8 tungsten bead in gold. And like I said, you want to get down deeper, faster, so you're going to have some with lead. Sometimes you're going to be in, you know, shallower water, and you don't need to get down as deep as fast, and so without lead would help you. And a little trick for that is maybe have two different boxes, or tie with a different colored thread. I'm going to tie with orange here. I'm tying with 140 denier fluorescent orange, and maybe you want to use green for your non-weighted ones. The tail, like always with these flies, we're going to use Coq de Leon for tail. And I'm going to take off, about 6 or 8 fibers there. Not a big clump, just enough to know there's a tail back there. And we don't want that any longer than the body of the fly. So we're just going to tie this down on top. And then we're going to wrap back and tie this down. Now, a little trick here is we're going to take and wrap behind. We're going to take and wrap under the tail. Okay, we're going to get underneath the tail, and then I'm going to pull my thread up, and it'll lift that tail up a little bit, you see there. And that will help keep this from going over the bend of the hook and dropping down. Keep your tail in a nice straight line with your body. Okay, now the next thing, one way that, like I said, I tie it different, is I use a dubbing loop on this. Well, actually, I'm going to put my lead on first before I do that. I use lead on my flies. For this one, I'm actually using some brassy silver ultra wire. I like the silver shining through here. It's nice. Other guys use like a Flashaboo or something like that, or Mylar tinsel. I'm going to use the wire. Not really giving it any more weight or anything. I just like the looks of it. And we're going to tie that in on the side, and I'm going to tie that back, and I'm going to tie it clear back to the tail and cover it up here. Then I'm going to bring my thread back and leave a little gap there. We're going to put a little hot spot butt on the back of it. And what I'm going to do next is I am going to make a dubbing loop here. You see me in other videos make the dubbing loop. I got my dubbing loop tool, and we're going to weave it in there, and we're just going to make the loop. And then, so I'm not going to go into detail on that. Watch some of my other videos. Sexy Waltz Worm video, I described it in detail. You can go check that out. And then I'm just going to wax the thread here on that loop. Okay, put a nice coat of wax in there. Then we're going to come in with the dubbing. And like I said earlier, we're going to tie this as a dark one. I'm going to use dark brown dubbing from my SLF squirrel dub. And I'm just going to pull out little pieces of it, and I'm going to put it in between the two pieces of thread on the wax, as you see there. I'm going to get it to go so it goes in between them. And then I'm going to do that the whole way up the length of the thread. Okay, once I got it up the length of the thread, we're just going to twist it. And that's going to make a dubbing rope, a dubbing brush. And you can see as it twisted, it gets a real buggy look. The fibers stand out nice on it. And it's going to make it really strong. The teeth on the fish are not going to tear this up as easily. Then we're going to start wrapping this forward. Like I said, we're going to leave a little orange tag back there on the butt. You can tie this in greens. You can tie it in just in brown if you want. Don't leave the butt. Don't leave that little hot spot. And we're just going to wrap this forward. Get it up there a wrap or two from the front. And we're going to tie it off. Make about 3 nice wraps there. Cut that off. You see how it naturally has a buggy look, and the fibers stand out on that real nice when you make that dubbing loop. And next thing we're going to do is I'm just going to run my wire up here and just make a nice even rib up through here. Alright, once we get it up the head, we're just going to tie it off, make 3 or 4 wraps. And then we'll just helicopter that off. Now the last step is I'm going to make another dubbing loop. And this time I'm going to put my prism dubbing in it, and or ice dub, whichever you have or prefer. And I like to do it in the dubbing loop because, like I said, it makes it stronger, and it gives it that nice buggy look to it. The fibers will stand out a little bit and drape back over the fly, and you don't have to worry about them pulling out. You do not need very much of this, okay? Just a little bit goes a long way in this with this ice dubbing, because you're only going to get like 2 wraps on here. So same thing, put it in there, twist it up. You can see I got a really nice flashy dubbing brush there. Okay, then we're just going to wrap that forward, and we're going to cover that orange color that we made with our thread. And this is chocolate brown, by the way. I think I forgot to say. Said it in the intro, but... And then we're just going to bring this right up here to the bead. And I'm going to tie it off. Alright, get that tied down good. Now you can see how that has a nice shimmery, I really like this prism dubbing. It's got a nice shimmery look to it. And we're just going to take and whip finish off here and make just a nice little hot spot collar on the front too. And that is all that is to this fly. Very quick tie. And catches a ton of fish. Like I said, if I had to have one fly in my box, and if I could have it in a couple different colors, it would definitely be this one. I fish these religiously now, and I catch a ton of fish on them. You can just see the bugginess of it with that prism dubbing, and the dubbing brush use. The use of the dubbing brush to get the buggy look in the fly. Give this fly a try. Like I said, we have these packs, the dispensers at the shop at holsingersflyshop.com, and you can find all the material to tie it, the beads, the hooks, and everything you need. So give us a look at holsingersflyshop.com. Please take the time to comment and like my videos, give it a thumbs up on YouTube, and stay tuned for next time. I enjoy bringing them to you, and I hope you enjoy watching them. Thanks a lot. I'm Sean Holsinger.